Now on judicial nominations. This one's hard to believe. It's hard to believe that the nominees for the federal bench have gone so low. But under Donald Trump's leadership, his lack of morality, his total egotism, his total self-servingness, they have. Listen to this one, this nominee, Mr. Artau. And this is why Democrats are demanding historical levels of scrutiny. Because that scrutiny reveals all of the corruption going on behind the scenes, just what we learned about Mr. Artau, today's nominee. It's one of the most blatant cases of quid pro quo I have ever seen. While Artau was begging Donald Trump and Republican senators for a judgeship, he was begging them to make him a judge. He was at the same time part of a panel of judges in Florida hearing Donald Trump's defamation case against the Pulitzer Prize Board. This guy sues everybody. That's been his MO for decades. He tries to scare people with idiotic lawsuits that have no basis in law. Well, in this case, he was suing the Pulitzer Prize Board in a case of defamation. Well, Artau was on the panel of judges to hear the case. What would a normal person, you don't need a high degree of honesty, you don't need to be an Eagle Scout to know that this is a direct conflict of interest. And any judge with an ounce of integrity would recuse himself. But of course, Artau stayed on the case, didn't even tell anyone about the conflict of interest. And surprise, 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 Artau ruled in favor of Trump. These are the kind of sleazy people Donald Trump wants on the bench. He has no principles. He has no regard for the rule of law. He picks people who have blind obeisance to him. He will bow down to the king. That's not what judges are supposed to do. That's not what nominees to departments are supposed to do. And he doesn't care if the people he picks are corrupt. He doesn't care if they're liars. He doesn't care if they lack any principle, sense of integrity, fidelity to rule of law. One quality only. Are they pro-Trump? Will they do whatever he wants? That's good enough for a gavel and a robe in this Trump world. And it's good enough for our Republican colleagues who just go along with all of this, knowing how wrong it is, and shrugging their shoulders out of fear, obeisance, or some other untoward emotion. The Senate should reject Mr. Artau today. And I'd also like to say a few words today about the step Leader Thune is expected to take later this evening to begin changing Senate precedent and to go nuclear yet again on nominations. At the end of the last work period, Democrats were working in good faith with Republicans on nomination package to move through this chamber. Senator Thune was very involved. He seemed very willing to come up with an agreement. And then at the last minute, of course, Donald Trump said, literally, to me, go to hell. And the talks fell apart. Was there any integrity? Was there any backbone? Was there any strength to say to Trump, we have an agreement, take a walk? No way. And so now, rather than giving those talks another chance, Republicans would rather change how the Senate operates to weaken this chamber's traditional and powerful sense of deliberation. And if Republicans go nuclear, the historically bad nominees we've seen so far under Donald Trump will get only worse. Let me say that again, because this is the crux of the matter. We all know what horrible nominees he puts up. As I said before, like with Mr. Artau, no sense of integrity, no sense of rule of law, just bow down to Trump. Well, the kind of people confirmed by this chamber this year have been unprecedentedly bad, beyond the pale, scandal after scandal, expose after expose. Many of them are far worse than any group of nominees we've seen before. Trump has made a mockery of the nominations process. He lacks any sense of principle. He doesn't care if the people he picks are unqualified, if they're liars, if they're corrupt. Sometimes it's almost as if the more corrupt, the better, because then Donald Trump will totally control what they do. It's as if he wants the Senate to confirm people willing to lie for him, to even cheat for him. He wants people who are willing to stand up for him without question. Loyalty is the only quality he seeks, and to hell with the rest. And if you don't debate nominees, if you don't vote on individual nominees, if there's not some degree of sunlight, what will stop Donald Trump from nominating even worse individuals than we've seen to date, knowing this chamber will rubber stamp anything he wishes? I say to my Republican colleagues, think carefully before taking this step. If you go nuclear, it's going to be a decision you will come to regret.